All right, let's dive into a pretty provocative vision for where humanity is headed, all dreamed up by an artist. It's a journey that starts way out in the stars, but you'll see, it ends up somewhere much, much closer to home.
It all starts with this one big idea. We are living in an absolutely incredible era. It's a viewpoint that isn't about being scared, but about being in complete awe of the massive changes that are happening all around us right now.
So, Section 1, we're calling this a strange and exciting era. Because that's really what it is, a time of huge progress, but also some serious new dangers. The artist sees our current world as this brilliant but kind of lopsided and chaotic place. And this right here just nails that contradiction. On one hand, our progress is so fast it's almost comical. I mean, it's unbelievable. But on the other hand, we're becoming more and more vulnerable, and that's creating this tragic imbalance. We're getting smarter and more fragile all at the same time.
And at the heart of that tragic side is just how precarious our situation really is. You know, we live on this paper-thin crust of one very special planet. The argument is pretty clear. If we don't start actively making ourselves more stable, that vulnerability is just going to get worse and faster.
Which brings us to Section 2, the art of acceleration. So if everything's speeding up, including our own fragility, how in the world do we keep pace? Well, this leads to a wild theory, where art, aesthetics, actually becomes the fuel for our survival.
Okay, to really get this, we kind of have to redefine what aesthetics means. Forget about just pretty or ugly. Think of it as this core biological tool. It's our brain's split-second gut reaction when we face something new. It's how we instinctively process change, or entropy.
And this lays out a really cool chain of thought. 1, the world is speeding up. 2, to keep from falling behind, we have to speed up too. 3, but who wants to just run forever? You need motivation, right? A bait, something to chase. And 4, that's where art comes in. It creates a beautiful, compelling vision, a new aesthetic that makes the chase exciting. So, that brings us to Section 3, dreaming of new worlds. If we need a bait to chase, what kind of bait is powerful enough to pull all of humanity forward? Well, the first dream is a big one. It's about surviving in space.
And look, this wasn't just some doodle on a napkin. This was a concept that was developed for over a decade. The goal? To build places to live in space that are way more stable and reliable than the surface of any planet. And the art was crucial. The vision was to use color to make invisible data visible. Kind of like how an astronomer can look at light and see the chemicals in a distant star. It's about making the unseen dangers of space beautiful.
And you gotta understand, these weren't cold, boring blueprints. No way! These were truly romantic projects, tapping into that dream we've all had of building entire cities that float among the stars.
It's an incredibly compelling dream, isn't it? People have been dreaming about this stuff forever. It feels heroic, inspiring, like the perfect bait to run after. But is it really going to be our future?
So after painting this incredible, epic picture of our future in space, a huge question pops up. For all its power, for all its romance, is that really what's going to happen? Or is there another way forward? And now for Section 4, a more intimate future. This is where the whole vision just takes a massive turn. Forget the epic journey out to the stars. The alternative future isn't out there. It's in here. It's inside us. Just look at the two side by side. Space colonies? We're talking unbelievably expensive. And they might even end up looking more like living things than machines anyway. But modifying our own biology? That's seen as a much more direct route. And honestly, it's expected to happen a lot sooner than massive space travel. And the promise of this other path is, well, it's staggering. We're not talking about living a few extra years. The potential is a lifespan of 1,000 years or even more. It's not just a longer life, it's a totally different kind of existence. So you might be thinking, why would anyone want that? The reason given is really personal, almost philosophical. It's this idea that our real life, our true potential, only kicks in once we move past our natural biological limits. It suggests this isn't just some fringe idea, but a frontier that all of us might eventually have to face. So let's hit our final section, the purpose of dreaming. We have these two huge competing ideas on the table, a grand adventure into space and an intimate journey into our own bodies. So what's the point?
This is where it all comes together. Ultimately, this whole thing isn't some prophecy carved in stone. It's actually a much humbler idea. It's the artist saying, hey, I just wanted to share my dreams with you, dreams collected from a lifetime of looking at hard science and wild works of art.
And this totally redefines the job of a futurist. It's not about predicting the one thing that will happen. It's about grabbing the boldest, craziest ideas from science fiction, holding them up to the light and asking, okay, what parts of this might actually make sense? It's about exploring the absolute limits of what's possible.
And that leads to the biggest insight of all. Maybe it doesn't even matter if we end up in space colonies or with modified bodies. The real point is to keep dreaming in the first place. The goal isn't arriving at some final destination. The goal is to keep inventing, to keep creating those beautiful baits that pull us all forward.
So the artist has shared their dreams with us, one cosmic, one biological. Both are powerful, and both could get us moving. And that leaves us with the only question that really matters, the one we all have to answer for ourselves. What dreams will we choose to run after?